welcome to Berries and Tea. Another Monday, another episode, another amazing speaker I have prepared for you. And this is Ghazal. She'll be joining any minute now, and we'll be talking about the power of manifestation, how to manifest. Yeah, this is something I'd like to learn as well because, sometimes it gets tiring. So welcome to everybody. I'm excited to be introducing you, Ghazal. She's a powerhouse. This woman is something else. She's like a mix of alien with feminine and a bit of human and an angel. So this is Ghazal. I don't know where she is. Why is she not joining still? Hi, Liberty. So Liberty, today we're learning how to manifest, like a simple formula Ghazal promised to give us that will work. So let's see. She's not coming. Sure, she will be here any second. I'm getting hot. Okay, I don't know where she's at. Ghazal. Maybe she went to the wrong account, but it's okay. We have all the time to wait. Liberty, do you have a story to tell me? Do you want to join until Ghazal is here? That's okay. So, Liberty. So we've had incredible, oh, there she is. Ghazal, you're late to my show. Okay, so we're going to invite you to be live. There we go. Where you at?
Hello.
You are so beautiful that I can't even complain that you're late to my show. Oh, cup of tea.
It's 2 minutes and I was on the first minute. You're so sweet. You're beautiful too. How are you?
I'm good. I love your amazing background. This is not how you look when I zoom.
This is actually a Chinese fan. And I love it. Right now the chair is covering it, but yeah. How are you?
I'm good. So whilst you were prepping, I was introducing you as a powerhouse of a woman. I said you've got a little bit of alien in you, you've got a little bit of feminine, you've got a little bit of, human, and a lot of angel energy in you because you're just such a beautiful person.
He's just being really kind.
No, because I've got to know you in the last few weeks and you're just such a wonderful person, and it's such an honor to be working with you. It's such an honor to have you here for Berries and Tea, exposing you to my audience, and I'm sure it's a lucky day for your audience to have you live to talk to them about whatever we're going to talk about. Yeah, everyone is excited. So thank you for being here. Ghazal, for the last weeks, and today is episode, I think, 21 or 22. We've had amazing 20 speakers on our show talking about wonderful things that they're passionate about. It's really been such a wonderful journey for me, learning so much from these people. So that's why it's great to have you here as well. And we wanted to talk about, power of manifesting. And you promised that you're going to give us a formula that's going to work.
Yes.
So I'm really excited for that. But before that, I want you to introduce us to introduce you to us, and what do you do, and how did you come to where you are today?
Wow. So I have, first of all, lived here in the UAE for 34 years. So it is my home. This is where I've, had all my beautiful memories, my childhood, my youth, everything. Now, as I was growing up, I would have my mother, in the evenings watching Bold and Beautiful. I don't know if you remember this series. So it was like, it went on and on for like, I don't know how many years. And they used to have this beautiful, these beautiful homes, like the interior, and they used to go to Big Bear a lot, and they used to have these beautiful libraries. So I was really young at that point. I was like, she would watch it since I was 6, 7, all the way through my teens. All the moms were obsessed. So I always fell in love with the libraries, Big Bear, you know, the cabins in the snow and everything. So every night as I would sleep, I would imagine all of these things. I would start to imagine like plans, architectural plans in front of me. At that point, I was 12, 13. And lo and behold, I've been an interior designer since I'm 18, you know? So I've been doing interior design for most of my, you know, professional life. And I started mentoring about a year ago. Well, you know, you get picky with who you mentor, because at the end of the day, they have to be teachable, they have to be coachable, so that you're not wasting their time and they're not wasting yours. So I started to do that with specific people. I'm starting my salon business. I'm starting another interior firm, my furniture design business, where we're doing customized furniture, a partner of mine and I, and the salon as well. I'm with a partner in it. And yeah, so everything is full throttle this year. It's a very exciting year for me. And I'm sure for a lot of us, because the energy out there is so incredible. And I think if you're not taking advantage of it, you're missing out. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I have a daughter. I'm a single mom. And yeah, workaholic. But yeah, I love
Tell me, Ghazal, tell me. So all the things that you are doing, like the salon, the interior design business, the furniture business. You also mentioned a yoga studio.
Yes.
And being a mom, like, you know, did you manifest that?
I did a lot of it. So I'll tell you a very interesting story on the yogi that we're starting this space with or for together. I had him on my feed for about a year, so I would see his headstands and everything. And one day I come home, I think it was about 12 at night, 12 midnight. And I don't know what we were talking about that day with some of my friends, the girls, and I came home and I dropped my bag on the bed and I'm like, Ivan. And then I forgot it. I'm like, why would I think of Ivan all of a sudden? So the next day, I don't know what I was doing. I find out that he's in Dubai. And I'm like, okay, this is so interesting. And I knew, because every time I think of something, or I think of someone, or I want something, it just comes, you know? Sometimes it's not even a day, you know? It just happens. So I get his number, I call him and I'm like, Ivan, I don't know you, but this is what happened. Like, I just come home, I say your name the next morning in a lockdown. You're in Dubai, out of all places, you know, from India, which India was on lockdown there. So I was like, how on earth could this be, you know? So we meet, and he is a brilliant Hatha yoga master. I mean, this guy is incredible. So we met, and then, you know, we started doing classes and everything, and then we're like, let's do this. So that was the story of the yoga studio. We're opening up in Port Views. And apart from that, my interior firm is also next door to that. So I'm going to be selling a lot of beautiful, sustainable fabrics that have been used through, like, they've been made by recycled material. Very interesting concept, and I would love to share more on that sometime. My interior is always been in my blood.
So Ghazal, tell us how to manifest then. What is even, you obviously have a formula for it. You want to share it with us. You say it's so simple, but tell us what it is and why does it work and everything about it.
So before I start on what manifestation is, I want us to understand that we are manifestations. We are experiences that happened in this time-space reality through our parents and so on and so forth, right? We're constantly fractals. Like, that's what we are, and we're constantly expanding. The universe is expanding, the world is expanding, we are expanding as human beings. So we're constantly raising our vibration. No matter what vibrational frequency you hold, you're constantly expanding as you desire something. And we never end desire. It is constantly there. You know what I mean? Even wanting to not desire something is a desire. You get what I mean? So you get me. So manifestation is what we are. It's not something we need to do. So you think, therefore you are. I think, therefore I am. Every time we think, we live on the leaping edge of thought. And what thoughts are aligned with our emotions. So any thoughts that have a very powerful emotional frequency attached to them are literally happening. Even the thoughts that you don't realize you're thinking, because what you're manifesting is not your conscious thoughts necessarily, but the subconscious ones that have been ingrained into your system, into your DNA, just like the way you know your name. So right now, if I ask you, what's your name? So if everybody gets a paper and pencil and I say, what's your name? They don't need to think, oh God, why did she ask me that question? What was my name again? You know, you don't need to think, you just know your name. So it's in your DNA. If I ask you your home address, you most likely know it. You know it, it's in your DNA. You've gone back and forth so many times. Anything that you're manifesting is what's in your DNA. It's your vibrational frequency. It's the frequency that you hold. So when you want to change from that frequency, you need to realize that a lot of things are going to change within you and around you as well. So a lot of people, you know, are like, I want this, I want that, but it's not in their vibrational frequency. If I ask them, what is your name? They'll tell me. If I tell them, what's your house address? They'll tell me. If I say, what do you want? Even if they have to think a second or two, they don't know what they want. Exactly. They don't know. They think they know, but they don't know. It's not embedded in them yet. You know what I mean? So they constantly are in this cycle of, I think I know what I want, but they don't, because there's no focus put into it. So the manifestation that most talk about is the law of attraction, right? Everyone talks of the law of attraction. Now, this is where we need to understand that, let's say I go and have this amazing lemon pie at somebody's house. Okay? I have this lemon pie and I love it, and I ask them for all the ingredients. And they'll teach me, you know, the ingredients that comes to their head at that point. But if they don't give me precisely the ingredients that's going to give me that lemon tart, I'm not going to be making the same lemon tart. Does that make sense? So yeah. The law of attraction is basically when you're putting that tart in the oven. It is not the full ingredients. It is not the beginning. It is not what starts. Law of manifestation, law of attraction is activated. It is not something that you start doing. So this is where what most people need to understand, that unless and until you're not vibrating at the frequency of what you want, become what you want, and then you get it, basically. You know, they say it in so many different ways. But when you become the thing that you want, when you're saying it like you say your name, when you know it, you know, you just know, what do you want? This is what I want. What do you want? That's what I want. It's something that you're thinking of all the time. It's not that you're thinking of the lack, because there's, you know, a flip side to the story as well, because you don't want to be focused on the lack of, you know, it not existing for you. You want to be thinking of it with a burning desire, or with passion, or this is what I want to do, and everything that I want to do, I'm getting to that. So that's your chief aim, that's your end goal. But you need to also know that you need to focus on the steps ahead. So the next step ahead is really, really important as well. Most people say, let's say, for example, I fall into a well. This is a perfect example. I fall into a well. My chief aim is to get out of that well, right? My chief aim is to get out of that well. But my next step is not to jump up, right? My next best step would be to not slip, and to hold the walls, and to, you know what where I'm getting at with this. So I need to get out of the well. That's my chief aim. But the next step would be what step I have to take in order to get there. Correct? So a lot of people I've noticed, or when I mentor, or when I talk to people, or, you know, any conversations that we have, it ultimately reaches the point of them not really knowing what they want. And unless you don't have a target, you can't hit the target. You know what I mean? You need the target, and then you hit it. If I enter Google Maps, can I go anywhere when I don't know where I want to go? It's not going to take me there. But if I enter the place, it's going to take me in the fastest amount of time. So the most important thing to understand while manifesting is, first of all, where your vibrational frequency is. Are you an angry person? Are you a sad person? Are you depressed? Are you happy? No matter what emotional frequency you're holding, and I'll explain this because a lot of people say you need to be happy. Yes, you do need to be getting to happiness most of the time. You need to feel really good as much as you can. But then you have a lot of people that have a lot of anger that they're holding, which is also, it's a negative emotion, yes, but I will tell you how you can use that negative emotion in order to shift your vibrational frequency and feel really good, instead of holding that angry emotion day in and day out, and then it just destroys your life, you know? So where you want to start with is, where am I at right now? How do I feel? Do I feel really good? No matter what you feel like, you need to up the feel good vibration. You need to constantly keep feeling good. It's so simple, by the way. Feeling good now is your connection to source. Feeling good right now, when you're constantly feeling good, it means you are in this state where no matter what is happening in your external reality, you feel good. Feeling good is constantly connecting you to the feel good vibrations of the universe. Feel good vibrations of the universe, where does that take you? That takes you to success. You're talking about money, you're talking about health, you're talking about everything that holds that high frequency, you're with it. But when you're at a low frequency, so let's say you come home and you see 4 bills on the table, and you're late on your bills, and you're like, oh God, this debt, I just, but you take it from that anger and you say, I am done with this. I am over it. It is no longer going to happen to me. I want this, right? So you take that anger and you direct and you focus it into what you want. You transmute that energy. And then when you start thinking, I want this, what do you want? You're angry right now. You have your bills. I want all my bills paid. I want to have so much in my bank account. I want to have blah, blah, blah. Say what you want when you're angry, because being angry is simply, literally like an alarm going on that makes you confront what you don't want. That is all that anger or frustration is. It is simply a confrontation, mental, of what you don't want. So when you see that, all you need to do is say, I am done with this. I want that. When you take it to I want that, you are focusing your particles, your atoms, you are focusing everything to the one thing that you do want. And when you do that, and you've taken that emotion, that anger, the emotion of anger, and you've transmuted it, things will happen to you 100 times faster. Get ready and buckle up, because things are gonna happen and you'll be like, oh my God, where did this come from? And believe me, this works. So it doesn't matter if you have a negative emotion. A lot of people get even lower when they have negative emotions, because they say, oh God, now that I'm feeling negative, the law of attraction is going to bring me more. Yes, it will bring more negative situations if you continue feeling like that. And when you get scared when you fear negative emotions, you will keep getting what you fear, because you're constantly receiving everything that you're thinking and feeling and acting on and saying. Words are powerful.
So I, as a person, never have anger. I have fear. That's my go-to, right?
Okay.
That's fear. So I was just thinking in my head, God, I wish I had anger so that, I could, change the situation and use that energy, because anger is it's a very powerful energy,
Very
right?
powerful.
It's almost invigorating, right?
Yeah.
And if you can change the situation, be like, enough, I want this is incredible. But I don't have that. And I'm sure some people also don't have anger, they mostly have fear. How do we, I almost can't imagine how can you, sort of transcend fear and turn it into something positive.
See, again, you can, because when you look at the scale, you're going from a really low place. So you have a depressed state of being, and then you have a little bit higher than that, a little bit higher, and then fears, and then you have hatred or jealousy or anger, these can all be transmuted. Fear usually comes when you're worried about the future. Correct? It usually comes out of worrying about the future. It's not so much worrying about the past, because when you sit with yourself and you're like, it happened and it taught me a lesson, there is no fear for the past anymore. So the fear is constantly in the future. Now, so this formula that I'm giving you, and I'm going to give it to you, actually mentioned, like the actual formula. But one of them is the law of belief. This is way before the law of attraction starts working. So the first thing you need to think of is where my vibrational frequency is. Like you said, let's say you're on fear. How do I raise it? How do I up my vibrational frequency on the scale to feeling really good? So you need to start understanding why you're having that fear. And I don't mean getting into ancestral patterns, because a lot of people dig really deep and then they create, when you dig deep, you're creating havoc in order to clear it, which is not a bad thing. But you need to know, and you need to be prepared for that, because every time you ask for change, a lot is going to come up for change to happen. A lot is going to come up and get cleared so that you can cleanse the way for new energy, for pure energy to come to you, right? So fear as well can be transmuted. Now, when it's fear for the future, we need to understand two things. We are in complete, and I mean complete, almost complete control of our reality. Because if we go back to from the moment we are born, and we say, I take full responsibility for everything that has happened to me to date. No matter if you feel deep down, I was abandoned, we'll get all sorts of stories, people from all parts of the world, we all have different childhoods. But no matter what, if you say, I take full responsibility, you don't know how many lifetimes what you've been creating, right? Because you're constantly repeating patterns until you cut their cords. Until you say, that's it, I don't want to continue this pattern. Whether it's a bad habit, or whether it's a person that you're with, or whether it's a group of people that you're constantly meeting, whether it's an addiction, it doesn't matter. You cut the cord, because whatever comes to you is a repetitive pattern. You are a fractal that is constantly expanding, right? So the future is changeable. You are able to change anything and everything in your own future through focus. And fear is usually future-based. So instead of worrying about something that you don't know, let's say like we didn't know that COVID's gonna hit, for example, right? But we can sit back and say, you know what, this is a good thing. There is something good that's gonna come out of this. Because with the universe, if you have full trust in the universe, if you are fully surrendered to the mega power, to the all-seeing eye, when you are fully surrendered, or when you have full faith in that, you know that everything that happens is happening for a reason. And I'll give you a beautiful example. When I want to burn weight off, you being my coach, okay? When I want to do that, my cells don't know why I'm killing them, right? But they're dying. The fat cells are dying, correct? So imagine that we are these little cells. We don't know the bigger picture. We don't know why things happen the way they do. All we need to know is there is some bigger force that understands, some intelligence that understands what it's doing better than our short-sighted lens, looking at things like this, like in a microscope, versus going back and seeing something through an eagle's eye or higher. We don't see. My cells are not going to see why I'm destroying them, or they're not going to understand that I know what's going on, right? And I'm happy about it. So there's always a good reason that things happen. So that fear is simply, you can just shift it to surrendering and say, I know that everything that happens is happening to my advantage and in my benefit. And when I know what I want, and when I'm focused on the thing that I want to achieve, the universe is going to shift mountains in order to make it work for me. And that is a scientific fact. Everything, molecules, atoms, particles, shift in order to make your dream a reality, each one of us. And as we think, And as we expand this universe, our desires keep expanding, right? So I want everyone to know scientifically, the law of manifesting everything starts from the mind. Now, the mind and the brain are separate things. The mind is above your head. It is not in here, right? Of course, the neural pathways and everything are connected to it, which connects you to the universal brain. So we can imagine bigger brains, and we are like the neural transmitters as people, or as brains. That's what we are, and we're all connected. So you are literally a walking biological electromagnetic powerhouse. Now, for some people, this is information that they might know. For some people, their eyes may roll to the back of their head. But let's say you have a radio station. You are more powerful. This mind of yours, this brain of yours is more powerful than a radio station. You can transmit information and receive information exactly as a radio works. The only difference is that you're stronger. How are you stronger? The waves, the electromagnetic waves of a radio that are broadcast go into straight lines. So when you get into a lift, the signal cuts off. When you go to another country, you can't play 104.1. When you go into a remote place, some signal or the other changes and things cut off. Your brain transmits and receives information faster than the speed of light, and it moves in all directions and waves and straight lines and downwards and upward, everywhere. So when you want something, it is going full throttle, faster than the speed of light, and it comes back to you like a boomerang. So the boomerang coming back to you is the law of attraction taking place. However, there is a lot that we need to understand in order to receive what we're asking for. So where did the word focus get derived from? The word focus is basically a Latin word that is the hearth of fire. Right before you create that fire, right when it's on that mantelpiece, the spark is what focus means. And that is such a powerful definition. So you are basically bringing particles into your focus and you are creating out of it. So the first thing, after knowing where you stand in your energetic or vibrational frequency field, is precisely this. What are you focused on and what are you creating? Law of creation. And the law of creation and your vibrational frequency are based on your belief. So when you say I have fears, there is also a lack of belief. You need to believe how powerful you are. And when you know how powerful you are, when you know you're literally a walking electromagnetic force that is stronger than any broadcasting station there is on the planet, your fear will go away, because now you know I'm the creator of my reality to a very large degree. Yes, I cannot stop natural disasters or things like that from happening, but I can create my reality. I can change my perspective and the way I see things in order to create the reality that I wish to have. Because if you're thinking the same and if you're repeating old patterns over and over again, well, you're not going to really get any results. You know what I mean? And there's a beautiful definition the Chinese have for insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is what insanity is. It's insanity. You want change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at literally change. And when they say these words, this is scientific. When you change the way you look at water, it has been proven, the molecules of water change. When you change the way you look at your food, the food starts to change its structure, literally. So imagine what you can do to yourself. You know, there is nothing to fear. The fear is all made up in our minds based on past belief systems, based on old habits, or the people, whether they knew or they didn't know. Most of the time, our parents, as they raised us, this is the best they thought they could do. They didn't know more than that, right? So we either had parents who were really, on our back to achieve things. We had parents who put us down. We've had all sorts of, everyone has a different upbringing. But it doesn't mean that right now you blame things on that. You take full responsibility for everything that has happened to you in your life. And when you do that, you've literally scientifically start to release energetic blocks in your body just by saying, this is called the 3-second miracle. Saying I am 100% responsible for everything that has happened to date, and I take full responsibility for what happens on here on after. This is scientifically called the 3-second miracle because it literally cleanses you. And once you are doing that, once things start bubbling up and coming out, you're making way for new things to come in. So you're cleaning or cleansing yourself in order to invite the new. Sometimes it may be painful. Sometimes change is not easy. You know, you have to be so driven that you are willing to lose or give up whatever it takes in order to get there. If, for example, you know, I ask people, what do you want? Usually their mental capacity will go to, I want a house, I want a car, I want a nice job, you know. But I started to teach people how to expand that, you know, just from there, just from thinking of themselves and what they would want. If money was never an option, if you had all the money in the world, what would you want? So they'd go a little bit higher, like I want a Rolls Royce, I want, you know, penthouse, I want to travel the world. And I'm like, you know, I said, okay, that's fine, but let me take it up a notch. What if you could, if you had all the money in the world, I would want to build spaceships. I would want to travel outside this Earth, you know. I would want to go explore the galaxies. I would send a team of help to the countries that need it right now. I would send daily supplies of unlimited food to countries that need it right now, you know. So when you do that, you're not necessarily going to build a spaceship if you don't want to, but I'm just allowing you to expand your thinking ability. And when you expand your thinking ability and you go so far that you're like, I want to build spaceships and I want to, you know, have my own brand of cars and I want to do this and that, having a penthouse is so small compared to it, so it becomes believable, and you believe that it's so easy to achieve because now I've expanded your desires. When your desires are expanded, the other ones seem so minuscule next to them that they become believable. And when you raise your belief, when the law of belief starts getting activated here, you raise your belief that I can have this. If that's what I'm aiming for, this is nothing. Your aim has to be something that may need 10 lifetimes to achieve. You know what I mean? But when you expand your brain so heavily and so out there, like your desires are just things that people would say she's crazy or he's crazy, you know, then the other things become really, really easy to get. You're like, this is nothing, you know, I'm gonna get this in no time. And believe me, you will. It comes to you like nobody's business. It like a year later, you'll be like, oh my God, you know?
So, okay, so emotions aside, got it, about the anger, transmute it, use it in the power of the, you know, in the manifestation. Fear, that's to do with the belief system, right? So reframe your belief system and have full trust that you're okay, you're safe, and you're responsible for whatever was in the past and whatever you're responsible from now onwards. Fine. So then that, going back to that example with the lemon tart, so the exact ingredients is what you say is what we need to know exactly what we want.
Yeah.
And that is not easy for people, as you said, you know, because even I would be like, oh, I don't know, I just want to be happy. That's all I want, you know.
We want everything just to be happy. Absolutely. That's ultimately what we want.
Yeah, but that's not enough, according to you, right? We need like the ingredients for that happy tart.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So then I put that happy lemon tart in the oven, and this is where the law of attraction happens.
Yes. So the first item in the formula is where your vibrational frequency is, and raising your frequency to feeling really good. So even if you're angry, you can take it to really, really good, because you're like, this is what I want, and then you immediately get happy. You know, it just shifts you. You fear something, and then you think of everything that you don't want, and that makes you angry, and then you can get happy because you start to focus on what you want, right? So whether it's fear or whether it's depression or whatever it is, you can shift it very quickly. You know, whether it's even with depression, it's a mental state of being. You can snap out of it, you know, and I've said that and I will keep saying that. So the first thing is where you stand on the vibrational frequency scale. The second thing is the law of belief. The third thing is the law of cause and effect. This is where the law of cause and effect starts to create what you are asking for. It's precisely like a seed. Okay, so imagine I have just this brown seed, and I'm putting full focus on it, just like the sunlight. I'm putting laser beam focus, or the sun's putting laser, and it sprouts. So that is the law of cause and effect in motion. So these three have to happen, and then the law of attraction is what you're just getting back based on these. So based on your vibrational frequency. Yeah.
I'm not clear on the third one. The seed.
The law of cause and effect.
Yes.
Okay. You cause the effect. You don't allow the effect to cause you. So when you are living, you are creating your reality. You know, right now as well, as you sit here, you know that everything that you've created was your choice. Nobody dragged you into it. Nobody grabbed you by the throat. Nobody pulled your hair. You know, you're here based on choice in this very moment. So everything that has happened based on the choices that you've made. And if you go back in time, you will see that very clearly. It shows very, very clearly. You can see the patterns. When you want to stop that, when you want to take control of your life, when you want to take charge, you must know that you are in full capability to control and take charge of your life. Full capability. So once you take charge of your life, you start to ask for what you want, because not knowing what you want is like hitting a target you don't have. You need to know where you're aiming. When you start to hit the target, things start to create and manifest in your reality. So back to what our brain is, because after the law of cause and effect comes the law of attraction, where it gives you back what you've been focused on. The focus is really important, and I need to drill this into people's heads sometime, and I need to say focus is everything that will get you there. And sometimes the focus is your thoughts. Sometimes you're having bad thoughts. You need to refocus that. Your next step is fixing your thoughts, right? Your next step is not going and buying the 1 million dirham car. Your next step is fixing the thoughts. So if you're having really low frequency thoughts, you need to first shift that. Once you start to shift that, you need to know what you want. Knowing what you want is everything. Knowing what you want like you know your name is everything, you know? Once you know what you want, like you know your name, you've said it so much that your DNA knows this is what she wants. You've already shifted your vibrational frequency, and you are receiving from the ether circumstances, events, people, and ultimately the thing that you want. So that is the law of cause and effect in motion. Cause and effect. You get it? So it's like the law of attraction, but it is the action. Now the action, a lot of people tell you the action is doing, you know, working physically. And it is not necessary. So there's the training and the balance scale. On one side comes your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, how you behave. It's everything to do with where your thoughts are. And on the other side is the action scale, which is what you're actually doing. So I thought of calling my brother is on the thought side. I called my brother, I picked up the phone is on the action side. Now, what you need to know is 99% of the training balance scale depends on your thought. 99.9%. If your thoughts are creating your reality and your thoughts are in the right place, most of the time you are reprogramming your subconscious. So you're not having old pattern thoughts. from your old neural pathways. You are creating new neural pathways with these new belief systems, these new thoughts, these new desires that you have that are much bigger than anything you've ever desired. You're building new neural pathways in your brain constantly. And as you build that, the other ones weaken. And as they weaken, your reality, which is connected, that mind of yours, which is connected to other minds, which are like neural pathways, they give you everything that you're asking for. Now, when you think a thought, the first person that gets affected is you. So if you're talking about somebody else, you're affected first because your cells hear you. Your body listens to you, listens to everything you say. Your cells listen to everything that you say. So sending out negative comments on people first affects you as a person. So you need to look around as people. You know, people are constantly judging others. Judgment is the lowest vibration that one can have. Judging other people, not knowing their side of the story, not knowing or walking their path. You know what I mean? So all of this needs to go. If you want to attract everything into your reality, you need to work on yourself. It is, yes, it is easy once it kicks in. But as you're doing the work, as you are working on yourself, you're going to see things coming to you and you're going to be ticking off lists. And I'm telling you, like nobody's business. It's just amazing how beautifully and effortlessly it works. Because so another thing that people fear is that they ask for something and then they start looking at its lack. Like, okay, I wrote this board, you know, I made boards, I made vision boards, I wrote down, I did all of that, but it's not coming. It's because you're focused on the lack of it. You're like, when is it going to happen? With the universe, we work on a chronological time, but the universe doesn't. So what is light speed to the universe, we don't even comprehend what light speed is. We might have a formula for it, but we don't know what light speed is. You know what I mean? So when you are creating your reality, you're actually creating it faster than the speed of light, whatever that formula may be. So as you are creating this, what you talk about, what you say, what you act on, and what you think and what you feel is all in alignment together. And those subconscious thoughts, you know, the ones that you're driving in the car and suddenly you realize you're thinking of something, those are the ones that are being recreated. So that is the ones we need to reprogram, not the ones that we suddenly think of. Because the ones we suddenly think of, we need to drill into our body, into our head, until it becomes a memory of our body. Just like our name. My body's memory knows my name. My body's memory right now knows the house I live in. It will know all the houses I've lived in. You know what I mean? Because our body holds a lot more memory than our brain. So we need to reprogram ourselves. The ease is once you are working on yourself, everything that you've asked for is literally going to come to you visibly. Like you will literally visibly see everything coming to you. But you need to know that doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, is not going to happen. You need to start with change in your life. You need to start changing the way you think, most importantly, the way you talk to yourself and people, the way you behave, the way you act. So you have this, you can call it a role model, you can call it people around you. People around you will disappear. Once you shift your vibrational frequency, you're not going to be having the same circle of friends. You're not going to be wanting to sit with the same people because I'm not saying they're worse and you're better, but you've outgrown it. And you're going to be attracting to you like-minded people, like-minded thoughts from other brains, like-minded circumstances that you've been thinking of, and then ultimately the exact thing that you've wanted. And I've manifested over and over. I can have a little thought right now, like, the other day I was driving my car and I swear to God, I was just testing it for fun and there's nothing wrong with my car. I'm like, imagine if the car just stops on the road. And it stopped. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is so funny. And then I pressed the button again, it started. I drove. Sometimes, you know, I want someone to call. I'll look at my phone and I'll be like, okay, they're gonna call now. They just call me that same second. Sometimes, so we think it's not intentional, but we live in a telepathic world. So when you think of someone or something, they have received that, and they're either going to act on it or they're not going to act on it. So let's say you're thinking of me. I either receive it and I call you and you say, oh my God, I was just thinking of you. It's not by chance. It's not coincidence. We are intentionally sending that frequency, which is picked up by the other person, and they either act on it or they don't, which is the law of cause and effect. So you need to act, you know, you need to act on your desires. And a lot of people don't get that. They say, I'm going to sit here and you know, and everything will come to me. Meditation is powerful. Meditation is really, really powerful. And that's a whole other topic, you know, of what it scientifically does to you and how it activates your pineal gland. And it's a beautiful topic. But you need to know that the most successful people on the planet are not sitting 12 or 18 or 20 hours a day in meditation. They do their meditation at the beginning, you know, at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and then they work their tail off to get what they want. And they are very emotionally driven people. They are driven, they are focused. They are so focused that nothing is going to get in their way. People like, you know, we can name a couple of trillionaires, billionaires. You don't see them sitting all day, you know. People, you know, they've been hearing these weird stories that you just have to sit and let it come to you. Let it come. It's not like that. You can imagine it coming to you. Yes, you can imagine already having it. It's very powerful. Vision is powerful. The vision that you have in your third eye is powerful. You know, you can use it while you are focused on getting what you want. All of it needs to work together. You know what I mean? Everything needs to work in this beautiful coexistence, if you may. They need to all coexist. You can't do one, not do the other. And when you love what you do, you are going to go all the way, you know? And if you don't love what you're asking for, if that desire is not getting you all, you know, like shaky and excited, it's just not big enough for you. It means that you're meant for bigger things and you need to go get it. You know, you need to achieve, you need to ask for bigger desires, because that desire is like, oh yeah, I want this car and I want that and I want this dress, and you know, it's just not big enough. I want to have this. I want to build schools all over the world. I want to help, you know, end world hunger. Those are goals, you know what I mean? And believe me, it will get there. It's going to get there. And that's how we're constantly shifting the planet. That's how we're raising its vibration, by desiring things that is good for the collective consciousness and for the greater good of all. Your intention is really important. If you want something that's going to make hundreds, thousands, millions of people suffer, it may happen, but there's a lot of destruction in that. Again, we don't know why, because on a universal scale, I don't know what this destruction is about, you know, what's going around. But things like that will come about, you know, and when you want to change your life, destruction is going to come in order to cleanse everything. And you need to be prepared for that.
So this is so interesting, Ghazal, because, and we need to end soon, but I was just like blown away by the idea that, like, first, you know, to reach that emotion, that frequency, that high frequency, that I get. Of course, we can't manifest from a place of sadness and fear. You only manifest that back. But okay, so raise your frequency. So that's step one. Then the belief system, right? Like really believing in
your power,
that it works, in your power, in the power of the universe, and all of that. Fine. Then is that cause and effect, like that focus and really just actioning on it. But before that, it's really listing what the hell do you want? You know, I think that for me,
what do you want? You know,
that
I sit there and I get my girls and I'm like, what do you want? I want to be, I want to have everything. What is everything? You're making a really broad, you know, the universe, just like Google Maps, you need to narrow it down. You need to know what you want to the T. Example, I want this, I want a Cadillac. I love Cadillac Escalades. I finally got mine, you know. I'm like, okay, I'll give you, you know, the universe says, okay, here's a beat down version of a 1990s Cadillac. It's parked there, you know. No, I want a new one. Which one? What do you want, Linda? You know what I mean? Like, specify what you want to the T. That is how you're going to get it. You need to know what you want. I can't stress this enough. Like, I don't know what language to say. Know what you want. Know thyself. Know your desires. Know. You don't need to know how it's going to come to you. Very important. Yeah. You don't need to know how
it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting that, and now, because, you know, as a coach and you work with people, like, I see, so, you know, some traumas that happen and some insecurities, some limiting beliefs. So to get to what you want, you need to work on so much before even get to that clarity of what I want.
Yes, the clarity. But once you know, that's all you need. You don't need to worry about anything else or how it comes to you. A lot of people are like, how? But how is it? How am I going to get this from where I am? I'm sitting here. I have no blah, blah, blah. I have no home. I have no, you know, how am I going to get to building rockets and sending them to space, for example? The how does not matter. That's for the universe to decide. You need to be fully surrendered to the mega power. You need to be fully surrendered in how it happens, because we cannot even perceive the bird's eye view of the universe versus our short-sighted view. Again, we cannot. So we cannot say, I want this and I want it now, unless our confidence level is really, really high. So then you say, give it to me, and it comes. You know, ask and it is given. If I can, I don't know how many minutes we have, but I'd like to explain it on a more scientific level.
One.
Oh, okay, we gotta do another session, honey. But yeah, on a universal scale, when you ask for something, the atom has already been created. You've created it. Where it is does not matter. It comes to you as you start to create, as you start to think of it more and more, you start putting those atoms together. And the more you put them together, they take physical form, just like water, just like this cup, just like this table, just like me and you. It starts to take form and it comes into your physical reality. That is how it works. But the moment you ask for it, it is done. It's already given. It just takes time to come to you based on your intensity and your focus. That's what's important.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so the formula you listed was quite simple, actually.
Very simple.
Get high on your frequency, work on your belief system, trust, surrender, focus, and know the ingredients. The specific,
which is these are these are the law of attraction is the last thing.
And then put that tart in the oven and wait.
Wait. When it's ready, you will smell it. You're gonna see it, you know? It's gonna be there. That is all.
Yeah.
The law of attraction is the last part and not the first. This is where people go wrong all the time. Yeah.
And I see that. And I think I've done it the opposite way of what you just said, but now I'm gonna work on whatever you said, and let's see if it works. So to end, Ghazal, give us 3 tips that, you know, short 3 tips, not on manifestation, but anything, life,
okay,
for people to take away.
The first one would be, who do you listen to? Because show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Who do you listen to is really important in your life, in anything you want to do. When you want a master, you go to a master. You want to play violin, you find the best violinist, you know? So who do you listen to is really important on your way to success. The second one is releasing those belief systems that you have built in from so many years, and just be open to listening, just to listen. So listen to learn. Even if you know the information, you might have an aha moment over again. So the first one was, who do you listen to? And the second one is being teachable. Masters in the world are still teachable. Masters, they have mentees, but they are still mentees themselves to somebody else. Apprentices, mentors have apprentices, but the mentors are apprentices to somebody else, you know? So you're constantly learning. Make sure that you're always teachable. You're always learning new things, because the more you learn, the more you grow. And the third thing would be, feel good now, because that is the key, my friends. It's that simple. Just feel really, really good, and everything in that vibration is just gonna come sticking to you, whether you want it or not, you know? It's just beautiful how it works. You know, just feel good. Even in the worst situation, just say, I wonder why this is amazing, you know? Like you had your car broke down. Amazing. There's a reason I'm here. I wonder what it is, you know? That outlook on life is going to take you places. And
I love those.
Yeah.
I love those 3 tips. I think, yeah, those are powerful. Okay, good. Okay, we need to end. I could stay here for longer, but we need to end. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Ghazal. And for sure, we'll have another session with you.
Definitely.
You know, after the summer. There'll be so much more that you can teach us and share your knowledge. And best of luck with the opening of the salon, the yoga studio, and all the other businesses that you manifested.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully you'll say the same to us.
I will.
You know, in a few months.
You're doing it anyway. We just need to be more aware. You know, we're doing it out of the awareness. We need to become more aware and say, "Aha!" But I created that. You know. So yeah.
I actually created a lot. I should be really proud of myself. Well done, Nigora.
I learned a lot from you too, honey. So likewise, yeah.
Like
it was amazing.
Okay, Ghazal.
Take care.
I'll see you soon. Everybody who listened, thank you so much. Next week, we have someone talking to us about nitric oxide, a surgeon from Hawaii. So this is going to be so different.
Amazing.
And really interesting as well. So lots of love to all. See you all next week. Bye, Ghazal.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.